Putting this paper together has been an interesting experience for me, because I played my own part in bringing evidence-based practice in the guise of the science of applied behaviour analysis to parents in Ireland. I was there right from the start, and I've shared in the successes of many families who learned how to use the scientific method to monitor the education of their children. On the downside, I have been amazed at the obstacles placed in front of parents by authorities in both parts of this island. Recent events in the south only serve to magnify the seriousness of the issues I shall be addressing. Concerned parents are viewed as troublemakers because they insist that the science of behaviour is used with their children. This first slide, given to me by a parent, summarises a widely held view of the current state of affairs for many families. In my presentation, I will try to explain why this image is entirely appropriate. To understand why parents find themselves identifying with this cartoon, you have to examine the way in which decisions affecting the uptake of ABA have been reached. To date, the various bodies which make up the local establishment in the field of autism have excluded behavioural scientists from discussions about applied behaviour analysis. Yet, over the years, these same bodies have produced documents that include serious inaccuracies about this science. These mistakes could be forgiven if they were open to correction, but the problem is they are not. There appears to be no mechanism to have them corrected, nor it seems any motivation to have the professionals whose science is misrepresented involved in getting accurate information out to parents and politicians. If this was simply of academic concern, then it might not matter so much. However, when mistakes transform into a culture of misinformation which affects the lives of children, then things become more serious. They become more serious because the science of behaviour analysis is the front runner in the treatment of autism. And they become more serious because the politicians who are reliant on accurate information to draw policy decisions have no way of discriminating misinformation. And they become more serious because there appears to be favouritism by politicians and support made available for bodies that perpetuate the misinformation. My own involvement with autism began when I was approached by a GP who asked if I could help a parent who was having difficulties with her child. For a year, I worked on a voluntary basis with the family. The little boy was brought to my house each week, and in partnership with the parents, we designed programs together, and I taught them how to use the scientific method in the analysis of problems the child was having and in the implementation of teaching programs. When he first came, these were some of the problems that had been identified, apart from the management problems the parents were having with him. What's interesting are the number of professionals over the years that consulted with the parents who were unable to offer practical advice. When he was eventually diagnosed, with moderate learning difficulties, Asperger's syndrome, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. He had a vocabulary of about 7 or 8 words, preferred solitary repetitive play, and didn't respond to his name, and he slept very little. And as I said earlier, his parents had severe difficulties managing a lot of disruptive behaviours. Here now is a report from his grammar school at age 11. Cillian enjoys the company of his classmates. He's a member of the school quiz team. He's a great sense of humour. He's a lively, enthusiastic, friendly little boy who can articulate readily his needs and desires. He has an excellent expressive vocabulary. His reading and thinking skills are well developed. And he contributes well to class debates and discussions. He also has a wide general knowledge.
Hello, my name is Cillian and Dr. Mickey Keane asked me to talk to you about my experiences with applied behaviour analysis, or ABA if you like. I was the first child in Northern Ireland who took part in an ABA programme which Mickey supervised. My parents came to see him because they hoped he could show them how to change difficult behaviours, like running away for example, and how to encourage skills like talking and listening. That was when I was 3. Some experts had said I wouldn't be able to talk properly or go to an ordinary school, but I proved them wrong. I've been going to a school with my brother and sister since I was 4. I've heard that some of those experts say ABA won't work, or that it's cruel, but they don't have first-hand experience like the way I have. ABA is fun, makes you feel good about learning new things, and I know my parents say it can be hard work too, but it doesn't feel like that. When I was at primary school, Myra, my classroom assistant, joined Pete to learn about changing behaviour, and she and my mum are still good friends even though I've left. She uses ABA to work with other kids with autism too. Now I'm 3rd year at Dominican and I really like the school. My favourite subjects are history, Spanish, chemistry and physics and biology. I don't think we would have had the chance to do these things had it not been for ABA, and I know I wouldn't have realised that it's okay to be different. That autism can give you skills that other people cannot, like concentration. If you can learn how to, I hope you enjoy your conference and that it will help other kids and their parents find out about ABA.
This is a remarkable transformation by any standards. What's disconcerting though is that there is a skills deficit in the community to achieve what Killian's mum and I, Lynn, achieved together. There is serious misinformation in applied behaviour analysis, and there is abuse of parents by some professionals who charge extortionate fees for their services. Killian's mother at one point said we should tell the public about our work together, and when we did, I was inundated with phone calls from desperate parents. I decided to try and address this problem in the community by running workshops for parents, teaching them about ABA, and again I did this on a voluntary basis for about a year, and eventually the parents organised themselves into a charity called PETE, Parents Education as Autism Therapists. They were the first group in Ireland to have as their mission statement reference to the need for science-based treatments for autism. Together with these parents, we wrote the first book published in Ireland and the first in the rest of Europe explaining this science. This book has since been translated into Japanese and is currently being translated into one of the many languages in India. This book is significant on a number of levels that will become clearer later on. For now, I want to take a closer look at the definition of applied behaviour analysis. ABA is a science. It is the science in which tactics derived from the principles of behaviour are applied systematically to improve socially significant behaviour, and experimentation is used to identify the variables responsible for behaviour change. Note, it is not a therapy for autism. It is a science. Here's an example taken from a conference back in 1976 of topics addressed by this science. Autism merely being one of them. And when you work with the science, here's the type of thing that is done. If we concentrate on the numbers along the top, we select the behaviour to be analysed, and then you measure the behaviour, then you select treatment strategies, then you implement the strategies, and then you evaluate the effects of treatment. It is child-centred in that it evolves with progress, and it involves database decision-making. That is, when you implement a program and monitor the effects of that program on the child's progress, if it's not working, then you change it. Simple as that.